exciting adventure of where in the world is Katelyn going to be. As always, we are going to start out by thanking our donors. So thank you to everyone who has donated to my world race. It has been greatly appreciated. Next, we are going to find out where I'm going to go now. So we are on my third stop, and this is going to be in Ecuador. So Ecuador is located just south of Colombia and just north of Peru. So within Ecuador, I will have a couple different ministry partners we will be linking with. So the first one is called Katelyn, and they serve as our ministry base in Ecuador. Mainly through our partnership with Casablanca, Katelyn's guest house. The guest house managers, Fabi and Mabe, are passionate about disciplining youth and mobilizing them to serve God's kingdom. They serve our teams by mobilizing them to partner with local ministries around Quito. Teams partner alongside ministries that serve children with disabilities, children living on the street, women formerly trafficked, and much more. Another partner we have within Ecuador is Pan de Vida. So Pan de Vida began with this man named Oscar. When in 2000 he met a young boy living on the street just outside of his church asking for money. Oscar brought him in and fed him breakfast at a nearby bakery. He told him about Jesus and invited him back for breakfast the next week. Years later, Pan de Vida serves meals to more than 1,600 people every month and has grown to include a vocational skills training program, a children's club, and a microloan program. Our third ministry partner we will be with Bob and his wife Lori. The couple moved to Ecuador in 2013 to raise up disciples and plant churches. Their desire to reach, disciple, train, and send the youth to Ecuador to spread the gospel, Bob and Lori are living truly a missional life, demonstrating what it looks like to live in obedience with the Spirit every day, wherever they are. So within Ecuador, some of our different ministries could look like children's ministry, local church ministry, special needs ministry, teaching English, a feeding program, and a refugee ministry. So now it's time for our fun fact portion of where in the world is Katelyn going. So here are some fun facts about Ecuador. Ecuador's population is about 17 million people. The main language spoken within Ecuador is Spanish. However, there are other languages known throughout the country. The main religion within Ecuador is Roman Catholic. About 74% of the population make up Roman Catholic. 10% make up Protestant Christian. 8% are still atheists, and then there's another 8% that is considered other. So the cool thing about Ecuador is the equator runs exactly through the country. And so as you can see, it goes right through it. Oh, I passed it. There we go. And this country is the only country in the world named after a geographical feature, which is the equator itself. Also, Ecuador is the world's largest exporter of bananas, exporting about 2.7 billion worth of them annually. So if you go to Walmart and you buy some bananas, you can see where it says Ecuador on it the majority of the time. Another interesting fact is the guinea pig is considered a delicacy within the country. It is roasted whole, and its consumption is an ancient tradition. It's said to taste like rabbit, so when I'm in Ecuador, I might as well just go ahead and try me some guinea pig. However, besides guinea pig, there is no national food, as cuisine varies from region to region. So since Ecuador is made up of so many different regions throughout, the main thing that makes them different is the Andes Mountains range that cuts through the country from the north to the south, creating a natural division of the mainland into three main regions. The mountain regions, as the Ecuadorians call it, which that region enjoys like a springtime-like weather all year round. So then you have to the west our lowlands leading to the Pacific coast. In this area, you'll find like very hot and steamy days of a tropical area. So east of the Andes, the elevation drops quickly and you feel the change from dry, cool air to hot and humid air. The east is the region is snaked with tributaries to the Amazon that run through miles and miles of rainforest. Though the days can be quite hot, a quick downpour usually cools things off. Now, one of the last regions known to Ecuador is the Galapagos Islands. Now, in 1835, Charles Darwin visited Ecuador's Galapagos Islands and largely based his theory of evolution on the discoveries he made there. Ecuador also has a flag with 3 different stripes. The first stripe is yellow for the country's diversity, blue is for its sea and sky, and red for the blood of the fighters who won their independence. Also, one of the coolest things about Ecuador is one of their national pastimes is soccer. You can find restaurants closing early because of soccer games, or people from as young as can walk to as old can be playing and enjoying this sport together. Ecuador is also a major source of cocoa. About 70% of the world's cocoa used for chocolate products comes from Ecuador each year. Ecuador is also known for their own chocolate products, with many varieties and flavors available to them are available. Now, when we're in Ecuador, we'll be there in December. So I'm not 100% sure if we will be there on December 31st or not, but I thought it'd be cool to tell you about one of Ecuador's traditions for the new year. So it's called Fin de Año. For weeks before the celebration, Ecuadorians are hard at work on making mojitos. These are papier-mâché figures made to resemble everything from cartoon characters, political figures, sports stars, animals, or just about anything else. They can range to be the size of small dolls or tower up to 20 or 30 feet tall. They're elaborately decorated and painted. As soon as it starts to get dark on December 31st, that is when the fireworks begin. Then, at midnight, that's when the mojito things they were working on for the past couple weeks are set ablaze. The fireworks show gets even more intense and continue until the sun comes up. In some areas, people even try to jump over the flames for good luck, or have traditions about what colors to wear and more. On the beaches, Ecuador's most popular seaside resort, the bonfires are much too large for leaping. But wherever you are in Ecuador on December 31st, you will be treated to a fiesta you will remember forever. So that wraps up our fun facts episode of Ecuador. So now we're going to move into Bible time. So I'm going to start with Psalm 10, verses 7 through 11. His mouth is full of curses and deceit and oppression. Under his tongue is mischief and wickedness. He sits in the lurking places of the villages. In the hiding places he kills the innocent. His eyes stealthily watch for the unfortunate. He lurks to a hiding place as a lion in his lair. He lurks to catch the afflicted. He catches the afflicted when he draws him into his net. He crouches, he bows down, and the unfortunate fall, but his mighty ones. He says to himself, God has forgotten, he has hidden his face, he will never see it. So this passage is really talking about the devil himself. The devil is very deceitful, and he tries to oppress people in many different ways. And looking at where our country is now, I thought this was a very good passage to share because our country's being attacked by the coronavirus, and there's been a lot of people whose houses have been hit by tornadoes and everything, and I feel like the devil's just waiting to pounce on them like that story was in the passage. But I wanted to remind everyone that even though the devil is waiting and like prowling on you, that the devil still, or that God still gives us a chance to be able to help and protect ourselves. So he gives us this full suit of armor, which is found in Ephesians 6. He tells us to gird our loins with truth, put on the breastplate of righteousness, show your feet with preparation to the gospel of peace. He gives us a shield of faith, a helmet of salvation, and a sword of the Spirit. And he wants to remind us that we put on all this armor so we can protect ourselves. So when tragedy and devastation and all these sad things hit, that we are prepared for the devil to come and attack us, because God still wants our hearts, and he wants us to love him in so many ways. And so as we go through these next couple weeks and whatever tragedies hit you, I encourage you to remember to put on your armor so that we are fighting the devil and not giving in to him. So thank you for joining us in our our third episode of Where in the World is Katelyn Going? Have a good day, and thank you.